Welcome to Better Today with Alex Merced, where we talk about improving your life by working on your relationships, knowledge, skills, and health, by allocating your time to development, maintenance, and leisure of those things. If you enjoy the show, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/AlexMerced. Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced, and welcome to another episode of Better Today. And in today's episode, what I want to do is talk a little bit less about sort of self-improvement per se, in a sense, but more than productivity. Because productivity is, well, self-improvement, but what I mean is smartphone apps. What smartphone apps are good for just being productive, for keeping track of the day, and just, well, doing things better. So some of my favorite apps when it comes to just like keeping track of things is Evernote. Now there is a free plan with Evernote, which for most people is probably more than enough. I do the upgraded plan. The reason being is that what I like to do is I still love doing handwritten notes because it's just much easier for me to write everything down. I can do it quicker. Usually there's a piece of paper around me. I don't necessarily always have my phone at the tip of my fingers and having to open up the app and all that stuff. So what I do is I take all my notes throughout the day on pieces of paper. And the thing is, I don't even have to worry about having a central place where I keep all my notes, because whether they're on little scraps of paper here or on the back of a business card there, what I do is that at least once or twice a day, I'll open up Evernote and take photos of all my notes and then label it for that day. So that way all I have to do is look up for the day, take a look through my notes for that day, and I can find the handwritten notes that I need. And if there's anything that needs a reminder, I can set up a reminder on my phone, which has gotten a lot easier because I'll just tell Siri to remind me because I use an iPhone. But Evernote's been useful. It's bailed me out a lot of times where I need to find a particular piece of information and, I wrote it down. I can't find the piece of paper. But again, I have all those pieces of paper archived over there on Evernote, making life much, 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 much easier. And then plus, if people want to write me down information, they can. If people give me a business card, I take a picture of it. It makes it really easy and basically makes photography an easy way to capture information you need without having to write everything down. And you can get a lot more information put away very quickly. Okay, I have some people do that in my classes. So what I do is I teach classes over there in Wall Street, and I train people in finance, and I write everything down on a whiteboard with 4 colored pens. It's just part of our style of teaching. But sometimes people, they miss a part of the class or they got in late. So what they'll do is they'll take photos of what I'm writing on the board to keep up. So again, it helps. Other apps I really enjoy, and one thing you definitely need, is some sort of cloud storage surface. Sort of the standard is Dropbox, since it plugs into pretty much all apps. But there's really sort of 3 big services, and you'll probably end up with all 3 at some point, and I'll explain you why. And that's Google Drive, Dropbox, and OneDrive. Now, the reason why you'll end up with all 3 is because probably you're going to want to have access to Microsoft Office. Okay? And nowadays, the way Microsoft Office works, which is great software, helps you do a lot of great productivity things, and we'll probably talk more about Microsoft Office down the road and how you can use that in being productive. But you have to pay something like $100 a year to Microsoft now. Instead of buying the software, what you do is you have a membership, a Microsoft account, and you pay like $100 a year, and you have access to all the software. You also get a bunch of storage on OneDrive. So basically, you'll have your OneDrive account, so you might as well use it. And then with Google, more than likely you have a Gmail account. Gmail is sort of the email standard in what everyone uses. And then Google has all these other services attached with it, with its own Office suite, YouTube, all sorts of other types of benefits to it. So in that case, paying to upgrade your Google Drive, it also, again, your Google Drive space also warehouses all your email attachments. So if you're using Gmail, you're going to want to have extra space for those Gmail attachments. So eventually you'll probably upgrade the $2 a month to have 100 gigs over there on Google Drive. So again, because you want to have Microsoft Office, you're probably going to have a OneDrive account. Because you use Gmail, you're probably going to have a Google Drive account. And these also plug into most apps. But sort of the most universally used one is Dropbox. And Dropbox also has some of the fanciest features, and it's just an overall very smooth product. So Dropbox is generally the one that people buy just because they want to have a Dropbox account, because everybody else has a Dropbox account, and it's pretty good. While OneDrive and Google Drive are pretty much just as good, most people have a Dropbox account. And there's a free version of each of these. You can have a free OneDrive account, a free Google Drive account, a free Dropbox account, but again, you're limited to not that much space. So if you're only talking about basic office files, then not a big deal. But if you're sending over a lot of big video files and whatnot, if you do like media production, then the upgrades become more important. But you need to have that because it makes life a lot easier to have all your files accessible to you. Now, one of the features I use a lot is the textbooks that I teach from. I've made sure to have digital PDFs, and then I've put them on my Google Drive. And you can actually set up from the Google Drive app, and I'm sure you can do this with OneDrive and with Dropbox. But you can set up the files that they're readable offline. So instead of me having to carry around large textbooks everywhere I go, if I need to refer to something, I have them all quickly accessible from my Google Drive, and that makes life quite a bit easier when it comes to my day-to-day work. So I'm writing down my notes, I'm putting them onto Evernote, etc. Now, a couple other good productivity apps. I mean, those are sort of the main things that'll make your day a lot more productive, being able to access all your files from wherever you are. As well, but also just being able to record a video, okay, and a video where you can teach people with, because sometimes when you're dealing with people or with yourself, you may need to teach someone something, and a very useful tool for that is the Adobe Spark apps. So Adobe Spark has 3 apps. It's Adobe Spark Pages, Adobe Spark Posts, and Adobe Spark Video. Now, all 3 of these apps are amazingly useful, and if you end up with an Adobe account like I have as well, that's just another fee and more cloud storage space you'll have for your online media, or for media in general. But all 3 of these apps are free. You can use them for free, but they're really neat. Adobe Spark Pages allows you to make sort of like a one-page website really quickly from your phone. Adobe Spark Posts allows you to make cool marketing images that I use all the time for a lot of the marketing stuff that I share on Instagram. And 3, Adobe Spark Videos allows you to make kind of very easy to make and very, very elegant videos for instruction. So I do sometimes instructional videos or quick videos that I'll post on YouTube with that. But with all of this, you can use that to quickly make a little presentation and wow people at the next meeting or the next presentation you have to do at work using these tools, because you're able to make these nice videos with sound effects, animations, all sorts of cool stuff, and you can do it from your phone. So this means you can do a lot of this stuff on your commute back and forth. So if you're like me, who's on a train a lot of the time, you're able to get a lot done with that time because of a lot of these apps, which just makes it seem like you're just amazingly productive. So those are just a couple tips. There's plenty of other apps that are useful for productivity, and every once in a while we're gonna do an episode where we talk about productivity and tools for productivity and tips for productivity, amongst all sort of the other develop your life type discussions. But the idea is, again, it's all about bettering yourself today. If you can do something that makes you better today, you're better off. And by being more productive, by creating habits for productivity, you will be better today. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Again, you can always email me your suggestions, your questions over there at alexmerced@alexmerced.com. And if you've been enjoying this podcast so far, please consider becoming a monthly supporter over there at patreon.com/alexmerced. That's patreon.com/alexmerced. This is the first episode of 2017. Thank you guys very much for listening and enjoying the show. I'll see you guys.